Alright, folks. I'm getting kind of behind on my book reports. I read books as I can, and then I try to make a report, put it up on YouTube, if nothing else, for me to remember what I thought about something or the important parts. And I'm like 3 books behind. This book is called Infinite Dangers. It's by a guy named Gary Yanis. He's an electrical engineer. He lives right here in Kansas City, and a lot of people don't realize that Kansas City has a lot of technical businesses here in town. Anyway, he wrote this book, and it's only available on an ebook, which is fine, I guess. It's not a printable thing. Yeah, see, he lives over Shawnee, which is the other side of town. Got his address there. He's a ham radio operator. So anyway, I read this book, and I kind of read a lot of these books. I just kind of either skim them or reading them. And this is kind of, I don't want to recommend or not recommend a book for anybody, because everybody's different. Everybody's got different experiences, and their levels of experience are all different. So I just kind of rate a book. Maybe this book would be rated for a guy that has a low experience level, has very little experience in I don't know what you want to call it, basic living skills would be a good way to put it. This book kind of reminds me, as I read through here, the guy is he's a suburbanite, and he intends to remain a suburbanite. And the whole premise of this particular little ebook is that things are going to go bad. Well, duh. And the premise of this book is that within 6 months they're going to go back to normal. Walmart's going to be open, banks are going to be open, whatever. Life is going to return to the point it is right now. Well, there's a lot of people who don't share that viewpoint. A lot of people think that once this thing goes down, it's going to go down and stay down for a while. And for whatever reason it might be here, there's all kinds of things a guy could imagine might go wrong. A pandemic, EMP attack, a CME, corneal mass ejection, taking out the power grids. There's all kinds of things you can think of that might go wrong. In any of those situations, I can't think of any that would be resolved within 6 months to the point that we can recover to the level we're at right now. I mean, this is life right now is pretty cool. I mean, you buy stuff with your credit card over the internet, and it shows up on your front door. You pay the bill with your computer. Your checks are deposited directly. I mean, life don't get any easier than it is right now. I can tell you that. So it's good. We're going to return to that point in 6 months. Well, this guy Gary, he thinks we can. So now, if you share that viewpoint, this book has got some good information in it that I haven't seen anywhere else. And I don't want to go into specifics. I mean, you got to read the book. I mean, it's not that. I don't remember what I paid for this book, $8-9, whatever it was, And but it's fine. It's got a lot of information here. One thing this book does kind of aggravate me personally. In some ways, this book is kind of reminds me of the self-help books back in the 80s and 90s, where half the book tells you what the other half of the book's going to do. And I'll cover this in later books. We don't need that. It's just wasted words. We just need to strip all that off. Of course, I'm an airline pilot my whole life, so I get information in bulleted form. All I want is the very minimum number of words required to get the information across, and that is all. I don't want or need any other superfluous, if that's a word. I don't need any extra information. I don't want it. Don't need it. So when I read through this book about how good this book is going to be, I don't care. So a lot of this stuff I just had to skim through because it wasn't useful information for me. So Gary's viewpoint is that it is better to bunker in where you're at in a suburban area. A cul-de-sac is best. and store enough food and water for 6 months and hide out. Don't let anybody know that you have any preparations whatsoever, and just disappear from the face of the earth as far as your neighbors are concerned when trouble hits, and like a bear going into hibernation, and then surface again 6 months from now when the things return to normal and say, oh yeah, we did fine, whatever. Some of this stuff does make absolute sense. Great. Water. I have a water filter in there in the kitchen I paid $300 for. And he says that's stupid. And in some ways he's right. You can go to Walmart, $300, and buy enough water, bottled water, to feed you and your family for months. So why would you need a filter, And so he's got some things in here that, absolutely are correct. Why try to figure out how to do food and whatnot when all you got to do really is just stock your basement full of stuff and you'll have food when you need it. All of this is fine if you hold to the original premise that he brings in the very beginning of the book, that he feels like there's no point in preparing for the end of the world. What we're preparing for is a hard time, and then we're going to get over the hard time, and we're going to get on with our lives. So, and if that's what you feel, this is fine. I'll tell you what he does have in here that I haven't seen other places is he got a very extensive list of other resources that you can go to. Let me pull some of these down here. And like I said, this is in a PDF format, and it's just some of the stuff's kind of silly. The way he's got this thing written out, it's very generic. Like I said earlier, I'm a type A personality. I don't need generic. I need a checklist. Hand me a checklist and we'll get to work. I've been doing it all my life. So some of the stuff is, some of the stuff isn't, But this definitely will get you thinking. And you should have everything that's on these checklists. I can guarantee you that. One thing gas siphoner, is that a word? I don't really know. I don't know. There's a lot of other stuff we can talk about, but I'm not going to spend it on a book review. This book review is just for this particular book. So this guy, his name is Gary Yanis. He did fine. He wrote this all himself. It has not been rewritten. It's got grammar problems in it. It's got some spelling problems in it. He's used some words that look alike, that kind of stuff. But it's fine. Yeah, you're going to be fine. So, Gary, you done good, I guess. It's a limited audience, that's for sure. But if you have a very low experience level, or you're just getting into, you think you might be a prepper, or you think you might want to be a prepper, you might start down that road, whatever. This might be the book for you. And it's certainly got some points in it. That's for sure. Like I said, there are some stuff in here you might want to. You definitely should have all of this stuff, but you should have all this stuff anyway. This is not something a guy should have for, an event of some type. All this, you should have all this stuff anyway. I mean, there's a guy that doesn't have any of this stuff. If a guy doesn't own or know how to operate a chainsaw, he has no sleeping bags, never slept in a tent, has no idea what size work gloves to get, you've got a lot bigger problems than just you're going to solve by reading books. You need to actually go outside and get a life. That's for sure. Anyway, take it for what you want. Yeah, I don't know how to rate these. I will say one thing. I checked into this radio. He recommends this several places in the book here. This Kato KA500. And I'm going to tell you, I don't have my other radio right here in front of me, so I can't tell you. This radio has a glaring defect. It might have a great receiver. It might be a great radio. It's got a huge defect. It does not have single sideband reception, so you cannot listen to ham radio transmissions. I would not consider owning a shortwave radio that does not have single sideband capability. Anyway, good book. I don't know what to give you. I mean, I don't know. I don't rate these, but Gary, you done good. This is Ozark Patriot. I'm out.